Hi, this is Pat McGraw, and I want to thank you for joining me for this brief overview of lead scoring, prioritization, routing, and nurturing. The reason this is important for so many businesses, you spend a lot of money to attract leads, but you want to get the most out of those leads, and you want to be able to quickly identify those that are ready to make an immediate purchase so that you can get them to the sales department now. You want to be able to quickly identify those that don't have the ability or the need to buy what it is you offer. Their budget's too small. They misunderstood what your offering is, and they're just not qualified. You want to get them out of the process as quickly as possible in order to minimize your expenses and maximize your opportunity for success with other more qualified leads. In the middle, you're going to have those folks that are qualified buyers that don't have an immediate need to buy. They're earlier in the process. They're in that gathering of information stage, identifying possible solutions, prioritizing options, and trying to figure out which is best for them. With those, you want to be able to put into a nurturing process so that your sales team can focus on those highly qualified sales-ready leads now. That'll help them improve their conversion rates with those folks. And then as you nurture those qualified leads with a plan to buy in the near future, you're using that opportunity to educate both yourself on their needs and that buyer on your capabilities and your unique value. You're able to better understand what their needs are so that you can make a more appropriate recommendation as to what solution is best for them. You're able to build trust and position your business to be their sole solution provider once they are ready to make that buying decision. So let's talk a little bit about this. And before I jump into it, don't worry about this being a little bit too brief. If you want more information, there's a much more detailed white paper. It's free. You can download it at the website. The URL is shown there. You can always email me at pat@mcgrawmarketing.com. I'll be happy to send you a copy of it. As I'd mentioned, about 20% of the leads that come in each day will have an immediate need and ability to buy the products and services you offer. That other 80% is made up of people that will never buy from you, and you need to identify them, get them out of the loop. And then a good chunk of these people are qualified buyers that just aren't ready to buy right now, and that's what your nurturing program needs to focus on. So many businesses don't have a clear, concise, shared definition of what a lead is. And I'm going to be really honest with you. A lead is not anybody who fills out your web form. It's not anybody who calls your 800 number. It's not anybody who walks in your front door. It is a person that has a specific need that your offerings can solve. It is someone who is in a position to make a purchasing decision. It's not someone who's just walking around gathering information. It's the buyer. It's the user. You need to understand what their role is in the buying process, what their timing is. Is it immediate? Is it today? Is it next week? Is it next year? Is it, geez, we don't know yet. We're still trying to figure that out. That has a big impact on how you prioritize the leads. And as far as status and size goes, what we're talking about there is the budget. Do they have a budget? Is it approved? Or are they gathering information in order to build a budget that might be approved at some point in the near future? What's the size of the budget specifically for the need that they have expressed and the solution that you think is best suited for them? So you can look at this criteria and, as opposed to in so many organizations, leave it up to the gut of the salesperson who's been assigned that lead. You can use this criteria to have a very specific methodology for qualifying the leads, prioritizing the leads, and motivating or moving those highly qualified sales-ready leads into the hands of sales or keeping the rest in the nurturing process. Now, everybody today is all fixated on marketing automation software, and I've used them, I understand them, I appreciate them, I also understand some of the limitations that are there. What you see here is proof that this can be done manually, low tech, inexpensively. Worked with a company just about 2 years ago now that did not want to make the investment into marketing automation software and did want to get a little bit more process oriented, on how they qualified leads and determined who went to the sales department and who stayed in the marketing department's lead nurturing program. So we put together both sales and marketing. We sat down for an afternoon. We worked through this whole process, and we came up with a very simple scorecard that was able to be programmed into their CRM. And their sales team was responsible for asking and gathering the information in the CRM for these questions. Each of the questions were worth 5 points, a total of 25 points. If the person scored 20 or above, it was deemed a sales-ready qualified lead, and it went directly to the sales department. Anything below 20 stayed in the lead nurturing program. Now, this was modified over time. It was enhanced. Eventually, they got to the point where if they scored below a certain number of points, they were deemed unqualified. They changed some of the questions a little bit to make it easier to identify someone who just would never be able to buy, and they were able to get those people out of the process and save a great deal of money. I've done that with other companies with more sophisticated processes, and the savings were in the six-figure range in terms of marketing expenses that were phone calls, were direct mail, were email, and other things. Over the course of a 12-month period, it adds up when you've got a large volume of leads coming in a large number of whom are unqualified, and you're spending all that money over a 12-month period. So it was a six-figure savings for the company. Now, you've identified those that are qualified but not ready to buy right now. You want to put them into a nurturing program. And one of the key things is understanding what stage of the buying process they're involved in so that you can get them the appropriate message. This is the buying process, the 5-step process. We don't have to worry about the top two, the selection or post-decision, because that's purchase and beyond. We're looking at the pre-purchase stages, which is where they've identified a problem or a need, and they're trying to gather information to identify alternatives, and then they start to evaluate the alternatives as they get closer to the purchasing decision. In these areas, what you want to do is ask a lot of questions to better understand what their needs and their expectations are, what they think their problems are, and then provide them with education. This is what people in your situation have done in the past. Here's how they went through their process. Here's a checklist of things that you're going to want to consider in order to make the right buying decision for your business. Eventually you get into maybe case studies and webinars that feature similar types of buyers who can speak about their own experiences and what they did, what they considered, how they got to where they were, what they learned along the way, and how their decision worked or maybe even didn't, and how they're improving their situation going forward. These are educational opportunities. These are places where you're going to build trust, you're going to engage with the customer, the buyer, and you're going to position your business, if it's appropriate, as the prime solution provider for this business's needs, this buyer's needs. You may find out through this process that they really don't have a need for what you have. And again, then you're able to get them out of the process and reduce your expenses so that you can focus on other opportunities that have a greater chance of coming true for you. Now that you know who your buyer is and what stage they're in, you're going to have very specific core messages that you want to deliver to them at those stages. And you want to make sure that you're utilizing the right communication channels in delivering that core message consistently across all of those channels. There's nothing worse than being in a nurturing program as a buyer and you're in the information gathering stage. You're trying to figure out what other people have done in similar circumstances, what the options are, and what might work for one situation or another situation, and you suddenly get an invitation to a webinar that's perfect and a buy one get one free offer, or a save 25% if you act now offer, or something that just isn't relevant. You don't want to confuse the buyer. You want to be consistent in your communication and motivate them through the process as appropriately. Obviously, the road from initial inquiry to I made a purchase is not linear. The buyer will stop, will start again, will take 2 steps back. The budget may be cut. The decisions to make a purchase may be pushed off to the next fiscal year. So that's why your nurturing process, your scoring process, your lead management process, if you will, has to have two-way flow for the lead. Let's say that person goes through the lead scoring and shows up as sales ready with an immediate need, and they go right up to the sales department, and that budget gets cut and the decision to make a purchase is put back until 6 months from now. There's no sense in keeping that lead, that buyer, with the sales team, because sales is going to focus on those that have an immediate need, which means that this buyer would be underserved. You want to get them back into the nurturing program, get them into the flow of regular communications, and when they are ready to make the purchase, you've used that opportunity, that time, wisely to solidify that relationship, build that trust, and then you can put them back into the sales department when they're ready to make that purchase in 6 months. So you have to have that two-way flow of leads. You don't want everything going up into sales, and then regardless of what happens, it stays there. Pull them on back to the nurturing program. Now, as I've mentioned, it's a simple process. Conversion rates, I've seen them increase by as much as 300%. There's numerous studies out there that show similar results, if not better. So there's a great opportunity to use this type of process to be more effective, more productive in your ability to convert new buyers into first-time buyers. And this will have an impact, obviously, on many other things. Think of it this way. Now your sales department is seeing a higher quality lead who's buying from them. They got higher conversion rates. They're going to be happier. They're going to be more likely to stick around and remain your employee, which means they're going to develop better relationships with your customers, which should lead to higher retention rates and more referrals, because as the more the employees there and the relationship strengthens, and the service will become stronger as the employee becomes more knowledgeable of the business and the customer's needs. It's just a trickle-up effect. You're going to see better performance over time because of these types of standards being made at the beginning. Well, that was all I wanted to share with you right now. Again, if you want more details, the free white paper can be downloaded at the URL shown here on the screen, or you can email me at pat@mcgrawmarketing.com. And in closing, I just want to give you a couple seconds to remind you that for the last 20 plus years, I've been working with small, medium, and large businesses, developing and directing integrated sales and marketing campaigns that help attract and retain more profitable customers for our clients. I've worked with businesses in a multitude of industries, including technology, professional services, retail, education. Worked with, as I mentioned, small, medium, and large companies. So what I bring to you is best practices, a breadth of experience in direct marketing, market research, analytics, the types of skill sets that help identify opportunities to improve sales and marketing performance, so your business will see an increase in conversion rates, an increase in retention rates, an increase in referral rates, higher average order sales, more order frequency. Bottom line, increased profits and revenues. So thanks for your time. Look forward to talking with you soon.